Hello, everybody. I'm Larry Ridley, and this is the NFL on EA Sports. Both quarterbacks have reliable tight ends they know they'll be able to count on to make plays. It's the Texans going up against the Bills. So let's go now to Houston, Texas, where Jim and Phil are on the call.
Bills, Texans, coming up on EA Sports. Houston, Texas is the site for today's matchup.
That gets me way more hyped than the Madden 24 pregame. I recently visited some friends and played some Madden 16 with them since it was all we had available at the time. And I found the game to be really strange. On one hand, it almost feels like it's from the future, with gameplay that feels more physics-based and more polished than the gameplay of Madden 24, and the presentation is so much better. On the other hand, some of the animations are jankier, obviously the franchise mode depth is going to be worse, there's no career mode, and passing the ball is way too easy. I threw 6 touchdowns with Johnny Football on my friend with a controller without a working R2 button, meaning I couldn't sprint nor could I view play art. That's how easy it is throwing in Madden 16. But I couldn't help but enjoy myself while playing it. Despite being the exclusive simulation NFL game, Madden has always leaned towards the arcade side of gameplay, and Madden 16 almost feels like the perfect Madden recipe. High-scoring games where deep bombs and aggressive catches rule. That's just fun, even if it's not realistic. I've been playing a lot of Madden 24, and when compared side by side to Madden 16, things get a little interesting. Madden 16 is better than Madden 24 in a lot more ways than I thought, and this is a game that was part of Madden's downfall, not Madden's prime. When directly compared to, say, PS2 Maddens, or even Madden 10 through 12 on Xbox 360, Madden 16 is a pretty shallow excuse for the only NFL game. But it's also a game that appears better with hindsight, considering where Madden has gone since then. Has there really been 8 years of progress between 16 and 24? No, not at all. And I'm going to show you that in this video. But keep in mind, I don't think Madden 16 is a good game. It just does a lot of things better than Madden 24, which really doesn't make any sense. Before we go any further, let's talk about Game Time, the sponsor of today's video. Game Time is genuinely my go-to ticket marketplace. I've used some of those other ticket buying apps and always get frustrated by bad seat options and annoying fees. Game Time is different. I specifically love their lowest price guarantee and flash deals. As you can tell, Game Time is obsessed with finding ways to help you save money on tickets. It's also the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. You can see the view from your seat before buying, your total is shown up front so you won't be surprised by hidden fees, and it literally only takes 2 taps, just 2, to buy your tickets. And look how cheap these events in my area are, from Falcons and Hawks games to college basketball. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Visit gametime.co or download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code SOFTDRINK for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code SOFTDRINK for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And let's give Game Time a big thank you for sponsoring this video. Madden 16 was built on EA's Ignite engine, and I feel like the Ignite engine is a much better engine for football games than Frostbite, which has been behind every Madden game since 18. You know how in Madden 19, for example, you had almost no user control, and the game played as though you were watching a chain of predetermined animations unfolding? While Madden 24 has improved in this department, it took a while. The Ignite engine Madden titles were much more physics-based, and while they weren't on the level of Backbreaker's Euphoria engine or even the 2K football engine, the game plays better than Madden 24 in numerous departments, and blows away the gameplay of the later PS4 titles such as 19 or 20. For example, in Madden 24 when running a crossing route, as seen here, the receiver almost always gets separation. It's too easy. The CPU AI just can't stay with him. On Madden 16, this almost feels nerfed. Again, like the game is from the future. Notice how the defender can actually stay on his guy. Same goes for running backs running routes out of the backfield. Defenders actually pick them up and stay with them. I found myself throwing incomplete passes that were well defended when I'm used to these being easy completions in Madden 24. I found running the ball to be more balanced in Madden 16 as well. It's much more difficult, and defenders will snuff out a stretch or screen quite well. Meanwhile, in Madden 24, I turned Kenneth Walker into the greatest player in NFL history, with numerous 400-yard rushing games and basically every record broken, all from inside zone and stretch runs with an average offensive line. While it feels like cheese, I'm really just running different types of running plays, and the end result feels like cheese because it's that easy. In Madden 16, you have to earn your runs, and again, it feels like a patched, updated version of Madden 24. Pass breakups in Madden 24 kill the fun of throwing. You'll often have a man in single coverage with some space, and the defender will somehow always jump and swat the pass without turning his head in the most frustrating way. Quarterbacks just can't drop the ball in the bucket. You know this animation. The ball trajectory is too low, and while it's also too low in Madden 16, pass breakups just make more sense in that game. Here's an example of the physics of the Ignite engine at its best. Notice how this pass breakup makes sense. The defender's hand is what's breaking up the ball. The AI appears to be a lot smarter in Madden 16 when playing CPU games, which is wild because this was 2015 AI, not 2023 AI. Peyton Manning will actually make constant audibles and even chuck it to the end zone if he's got a good matchup. In Madden 24, even when needing a touchdown with time ticking, the AI quarterbacks will just scramble or throw quick out routes instead of going for the touchdown. This regression really kills the fun in franchise mode, especially when playing solo. So if Madden 16 simply feels like a nerfed version of Madden 24 with a different meta, is Madden actually progressing towards being a better football game every year? Or is the game just getting changes for the sake of changes, so online players can have a new meta every year without anything meaningful actually changing? EA is only catering to the online competitive crowd, and even they seem to hate the game. The NFL really needs to open up their licensing to other companies. Instead of fixing ball trajectory, for example, Madden will simply program defenders to jump less high or play less aggressively, and go back and forth with that every other year. It feels like the game goes from man coverage being great one year to zone coverage being great the next year. Or for example, Madden 16 is a pass-happy game, while Madden 24 is a run-happy game. None of these changes are making Madden a more realistic, better playing football simulation. They are just making it different for the sake of making it different. Aggressive catching was first introduced in Madden 16, along with possession catching and rack catching. This is something that has been a part of Madden ever since, and while it gives the user more control over how the receiver goes for the ball, it also ironically gives players less user control by forcing specific animations to play out. That said, I'm not sure if there's a better alternative, and I would rather have this control than not, and you can thank Madden 16 for it. In this game, aggressive catching worked more often than it does in any Madden since, and while it might be a bit extreme, I do prefer being able to confidently throw the ball into single coverage without worrying about it getting intercepted so easily. Madden 16 does feel more polished overall than recent titles, likely because of the Ignite engine. The Frostbite engine used in newer games was built for first-person shooters, so it makes sense why building a football game in the same engine created so many issues. But I did see one weird glitch in Madden 16, as you can see here, so it's not like it was perfect or anything. Animations for things like quarterback dropbacks were a little awkward, especially when compared to a game like All Pro Football 2K8, but besides that, I think Madden 16 might look visually better than Madden 24. The grass looks more grass-like, shading looks nicer, stadiums seem better, something about it just feels more authentic. Madden 24 has such a dull, flat art style, and while it looks good in 4K, it has a strong, uncanny valley feeling that Madden 16 seems to avoid. A major reason why Madden 16 feels more authentic than 24 is the presentation, which is light years ahead of Madden 24. It feels like I'm playing Madden 26, which is just insane considering how mid Madden 16 was at launch. This was the last year of Jim Nantz and Phil Simms in the booth. For Madden 17 through 24, Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis have done the commentary, and you'll still hear the same lines from Madden 17 in the latest game. It gets really dull, and I found myself enjoying the Madden 16 commentary a lot more, probably just because it's something different. The pregame presentation feels like an actual broadcast, with a mix of Fox and CBS from the time. There's actual instrumental music pre-game rather than just reusing background beats of songs from the soundtrack like Madden 24 would. Larry Ridley is a lot more exciting than Jonathan Coachman, and when quarterbacks enter the game, you'll see some real-life NFL clips shown beside them, which is awesome. The halftime show actually shows highlights. Check this out.
And that's going to do it for the first half. We'll be back to Space City, Houston, Texas, for the start of the second half after the break.
Thanks, Jim, and welcome to the EA Sports Halftime Report. I'm Larry Ridley. The Texans trail right now, but with another half to play, there's time to turn it around. The Bills have been the better team, though, and will try to maintain the lead in the second half. All right, let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. Now 1st and 10, the quick pass and completion is made, and the play will come to an end after a gain of 20. The offense would later throw a pick to end the drive. 3rd down from inside the 40. Harvin is found on the quick pass, and 37 yards later, he'll go in for the score. The Bills right first in this one. Now till late in the second. Here we get a quick pass and completion, and he'll be tackled at the 46-yard line. So that's it for us. We'll go back now to Houston for the start of the second half.
In-game stat overlays look better, and the scoreboard, look at that scoreboard. It looks like a copy of CBS from the time, and I love that. I'd much rather see EA mimic an actual broadcast, or better yet, license one, or two, or three, rather than have this generic-looking mess we see in Madden 24. The presentation difference is night and day, which is insane, considering Madden 16 doesn't even hold a candle to ESPN NFL 2K5, a game I can't stop referencing because EA basically forces my hand. I often get comments complaining that I mention 2K5 too much, but until EA actually surpasses that game fully, it will continue to be relevant. Another improvement is the hurry-up offense presentation. In Madden 16, when you hold triangle or Y to hurry up, you actually get to see your players run to the line, get set, and then you get to hike the ball in real time. Pretty standard stuff, right? In Madden 24 and the last few titles, in order to make the game faster for online players, EA completely skips all of that and gets you right back to the line with time immediately taken off the clock. I think this is a terrible change. First, it takes less time off the clock in Madden 16 to do hurry up. The anticipation of watching everyone run to the line and get set is exciting to watch unfold. In Madden 24, holding the button after a catch with 13 seconds left and then seeing the game instantly end is extremely underwhelming. Also, what if halfway through the hurry-up sequence, you notice you aren't going to make it in time, so you call a timeout? In Madden 24, this is impossible because it skips the entire sequence. This is definitely a minor issue for me, but I miss the old hurry-up. Do you guys agree? Or do I just care too much about the little things? Draft Champions, now known as MUT Draft, was actually added for the first time in Madden 16, and you didn't need tickets or anything to play it. It was free to play and fun to play, and you didn't have to touch anything in Ultimate Team besides this mode if that's what you wanted. Franchise mode is obviously worse in Madden 16, missing a ton of depth and features, but it's really not that far off from 24. Relocation teams are basically the same, and because of how shallow modern Madden is, there really isn't that much missing. But I can't say it's 100% better, besides the fact that you get an immediate visual depth chart on the right, which for some reason is buried in a menu in Madden 24. It's definitely easier to navigate and quicker to navigate, but beyond the menu design, I will say Madden 24 does have a better franchise mode. Madden 16 is also a pretty nostalgic game at this point. I know a lot of you probably have fond memories of playing this game with your friends back in the day, and it had a pretty nice soundtrack with a variety of genres. The rosters were also awesome, with prime Cam Newton, the last year of Peyton Manning, Eli Manning throwing to cover athlete OBJ in his second season, and so much more. It's a really fun roster to start a franchise in, with a lot of recently retired players still in their prime in this game. And with how pass-happy the gameplay is, it's a lot of fun to play today. The game starts with a cinematic tutorial of this fictional Steelers-Cardinals Super Bowl 50, and while it's basically just a slow tutorial, it's kind of a vibe. I don't mind it. If you saw my video on Madden 09 for the DS, I feel like Madden 16 has a similar vibe. Both are games that weren't considered anything special when they released, but as time has gone on and EA has continued to further ruin Madden, these games appear better with hindsight. Madden 16 feels like what the next Madden might feel like. There was definitely more care put into 16 than 24, but even back then players were complaining that it wasn't enough. Our standards seem to get lower each and every year. When playing Madden 16, it's clear that there is nothing next-gen about Madden 24 because 16 feels like a newer game at times despite being an early PS4 title. That's just wild. Madden isn't progressing, it's just changing randomly year to year. This is a series that isn't heading in any specific direction, so if you see a review calling the game a step in the right direction, which you will every year, just ignore it. Madden takes steps in different directions, but never the right one. Change for the sake of change allows you to market a new, different playing game each year, but if you ignore the hype and really dissect what's happening here, you'll notice that the game is no closer to being a great football game than it was a decade ago. And if you're thinking to yourself, man, this guy needs to relax, it's just a video game, how realistic can it be? You probably never played the 2K football titles. Or maybe you're right, maybe I do care too much. I don't know. But thanks for watching.